Okay, so as we look at this, Kelly Rainier has nominated us for a Best in Network for our project Tuesdays With. So part of what we need to do is really go over the rubric, the project idea rubric, the 6 A's is what we call it, and really evaluate this project. We did this when we finished the project back in November, but this is a little bit more formal in looking at the quality of the project. So we can go ahead and start and kind of work our way through several of these, although you and I have talked, lots of these cross over. So I don't think we'll ever be talking about one specific piece, we'll just kind of cross them through. So.
Right. Well, I think of all of the A's in these domains, the shining star one is the authenticity. These kids were face to face with the residents, the way the residents leaned in and looked in their eyes and really took an interest in these kids. It's lasting, the way they sent Christmas cards, and the whole authenticity piece was goosebump stuff even.
Right, and I think that's part of the adult connection as we work through the A's. You know, a one-on-one interview with an adult they've never met. I'm going to interview you and I want you to tell me about your life. And the residents at the Smith Acres, assisted living.
They were eager.
Yeah.
They were very eager to just give them 100% of their attention and make an impression, and boy did they.
And their stories. They didn't hold anything back. Here's, my mother died when I was this old. I basically was raised by my sister. I mean, they gave them real life stories.
So I don't think the kids even noticed how much rigor that project had. They were so involved in the person they interviewed. It's like they adopted that person. And so they didn't even notice that they had learned about interviewing skills, and they learned about Rembrandt and Chuck Close and charcoal drawing techniques and proportions of portrait drawing. And you incorporated the stories that for English.
Yeah, we talked about Kennedy's assassination. We read an excerpt about that. I'm glad we did. Most of the residents say, oh, I remember when Kennedy died and this is where it was. The kids had the background knowledge. It was like they went in knowing a little bit about something that they were talking about that they didn't know before.
I don't think the kids noticed the rigor because they were so enthusiastic about their resident and learning about them and pleasing them with a very accurate, realistic drawing. One thing the kids did notice, however, is when they were evaluated at the end, when they did their presentations, having such an audience with the whole resident population as well as their families and their portraits right up on that easel, they felt like they were, in front of a real live significant audience.
Well, and it had to be significant. When you're talking about, here's how I saw you in a picture, that's personal. And then they tell their story. Like they talked about what they wrote, and they, when we did that presentation, and part of what they had to say was, what changed me, or what did I realize? And when kids are saying things like, I realize I need to spend more time with my family. I realize I need to be thankful for what I have. All of those things. It wasn't, I realized I'm a good writer or I'm a good artist. They realized like the big picture stuff in that assessment piece. So it was more than just writing and drawing. It was a realization, a personal realization for those kids.
Some of our other projects are so focused, and this one, the way they went down different paths in the interview was kind of like being flexible with research, and I love the way our guest speaker spoke to them about asking open-ended questions and going down different paths with your interview, because that is so applicable to research also.
And they pushed, if they didn't know about something that happened, one of the residents said, I saw a funeral procession with a president go through Waterloo, Indiana. The student asked me, what president? I said, I don't know, but we'll find out.
Yeah.
She spent 2 days finding out, and she realized who the president was. She put that in her story to make it even more authentic and more realistic. I mean, they did that research, and it wasn't a struggle to get them to do the research because they wanted to know, because they wanted to write that great story.
And the residents helped them become very active in their exploration. It was building the relationship really lended to that. And then all of the adult interaction that they gained from not just the interview, but the guest speaker, speak about interview skills, and then the presentations at the end was priceless.
Yeah.
Lasting effect.
Best project ever.
Woohoo!